I would like to share this with the people in Montreal that are not going to have a team anymore. But my heart and my ring is with them too.
This one's from Expose.
Yeah, it's Anakin Slade. What's he been doing lately? Huh? Got a new album out. Welcome back, Melnick in the afternoon, TSN 690. Thanks again to Noel Butler. Enjoy yourself over at Saputo tonight. Along with Rod Francis, Eric Thomas sitting in for Mitch Gallows on his way to Bangkok, Thailand. The spaceman Bill Lee, we hope, in about 15, 20 minutes. You haven't reached him?
Well, I called his house, or his father's house out in California.
His late father's house.
His late father's house. And
that means it's his house now.
That's true.
That's what happens. That's why he's out there.
You're right. I'm just programmed that way.
Yeah, I know.
I think Bill still refers to it as his dad's place.
It's because there's some kind of legal battle with his brother.
That would be why. Anyway, I didn't reach him, so we'll see.
It was about this time yesterday when we had another conversation about somebody's late dad, wasn't it? Awkward moment with Gord Miller last night. Wow. I hope some of you caught the picture, fascinating picture that I retweeted at some point over the last couple of days of Randy J. It was Pedro Martinez, who is on Twitter if you're not aware. He tweeted out a picture of the big unit and Pedro, side by each. A fascinating picture. I don't know if they've ever been photographed together before. And we had, of course, that wonderful day, which stretched into a night, and for some of us, a whole week in Toronto of ExposNation, descending upon what used to be the Sky Dome in Toronto, where I didn't see you.
Me?
Were you there?
No, I was not there.
Well, why not?
It was a busy weekend.
I don't care. You're in Montreal now, Atlanta.
If they were in Montreal, I'd be there.
You'd be trading that Braves cap for an Expos tri-colored cap?
I don't know if I could do all that, but yeah, I would be down there 3-4 nights a week for sure.
Founding member, president and chairman of ExposNation, ExposNation.com, who organized that event and the next big one coming up, and the host of Game Points here on TSN 690. He was in the studio last night. Matthew Ross, how you doing?
I'm good, Mitch. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. So you started this Facebook group, right? That's what it was. It was a group on Facebook?
No. I found a dormant page which had like 100,000 fans, and today actually we just crossed 158,000 fans. So yeah.
What do you mean dormant? What do you mean dormant?
Well, some kid out of Toronto started an Expos fan page to post pictures, and then wasn't really an Expo fan, didn't know what to do with the page, and it just kind of sat there. And I came across it, and I just kept hounding the page until he eventually got back to me and said, "Yeah, you take it over."
And so when you did take it over, did you have any concept or vague notion of what you wanted to do with it?
Well, I thought, you know what, let's see if there's anybody out there like me. Am I alone? Am I just, in my basement? Some people in the French media said that ExposNation was just 6 guys on the West Island in a basement.
Who said that?
There was a couple of people on the French side. If you Google it, you'll see. So I'm proud to say that we have a committee of 10 people, and 6 are not Anglophone. But yeah, I didn't really have a plan. It sort of started to just snowball with people emailing and writing and want to be a part of it. And then once we hit the mainstream over the last few months with our own website and such, things have really just taken over. People offering their services, people offering to volunteer at events. Can they buy this? Can they do that? Where can I get this? And all over, really. It's just shocking. Maritimes is just littered and just filled right now with Expos pride and people wanting to do things. I had a story yesterday from a high school kid in Ohio who's upset that he can't come to our big event on August 17th. And I emailed him and I said, why are you an Expo fan? I got to know. Well, my dad grew up in Ohio as an Expo fan just because he liked the logo. And my great uncle pitched for the Expos, Matt Hergis, 2002.
Ooh, a scab. He was. Well, it's a crude term, but he was. He's one of those guys who was totally ostracized by the Major League Baseball Players Association. Now, eventually, after several years, they started treating them like fellow human beings. But for the longest time, Matt Hergis and a group of guys who decided to, basically cross a picket line, not like a factory worker, a picket line armed by millionaires, but it's still a picket line. He was one of them. What can you say? Doesn't make him a bad guy, but he was one of them.
He's now the pitching coach for Rancho Cucamonga.
Yes. Rancho Cucamonga, the Padres team, right?
Yep, single A.
That's Fred McGriff's famous line. I'd rather play in Rancho Cucamonga than Montreal, when there were rumors that McGriff would be traded to the Expos, and people thought it was a figure of speech. It was an actual team.
The crime dog, Fred McGriff. I remember him well.
A lot of people pushing him for the Hall of Fame, by the way.
I would love to see
his numbers. You look at his numbers, and you're going, wait a minute, I gotta think about this, because he doesn't jump out at me as necessarily a Hall of Famer. Okay, you mentioned August 17th. What is happening?
Yeah, so August 17th, we have a pitch and catch rally. So it's a grassroots effort to get people out to the fields of Jarry Park, not the diamonds, but just the fields, to throw around the ball in the morning. Bring your gloves, bring a ball, and the
morning? What time in the morning?
I know. Well, I'll explain.
Saturday morning.
It's early, Mitch. It's really early. And thanks in large part to an organization called Grande Étoile du Hockey, who's helping Alex Kovalev with 4 charity events in Quebec this month. They're delaying their bus trip up north for one of the events on the 17th so that Steve Rogers, Derek Aucoin, and now confirmed today, Claude Raymond, can come and play pitch and catch with all the fans that are going to come out.
So that is Saturday morning, August the 17th.
That's correct.
What time? What time in the morning?
Well, our press release said 8:30. I know that's early, but if you have a kid who's in a baseball camp, chances are it was in the morning anyway, so you're used to it. You know, hockey fathers and moms, not a big deal to go out that early. So that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to get people to come out, rock some Expo gear, talk to the media, and there is a possibility of us having some other personalities from the Kovalev charity tournament as well. We just haven't been able to confirm them just yet.
All right, I'm curious, Steve Rogers' reaction, because he was one of those who was noticeably absent from the 81 reunion. He just couldn't work it out to be in Montreal with his teammates from that 81 Expos team, the only team that went to the playoffs that was organized by Cromartie and the Montreal Baseball Project. So it's great to know that he still is interested in coming back to his baseball home.
Well, Steve's been great with us. He's given us access to former players as well. He's a good friend of Derek Aucoin, so that's really helped us as well. And the reason that Steve wasn't there last year is because he had committed to an ALS charity event in Montreal, so that was his Montreal trip last summer.
Right.
So that was the problem. It was just a timing issue. But we're very excited about the turnout, or at least the interest right now. We expect a lot of baseball associations to take part. Baseball Quebec's been helping us to push to get kids out there, and concurrently, we also launched a mock season ticket drive online as well, which has done well.
Matt, some of the goodwill that your group has experienced here the last few months, was that just goodwill that had been banked from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, from whenever, and you were they were waiting for someone or something to ignite it? It was just, as you say, dormant from past eras?
No. I think early on, a couple of years ago, those were the only emails I was getting, old-timers, people like my dad, et cetera, missing the Expos. But according to our numbers with our season ticket drive, and it's amazing, people are, spending a lot of time registering, thinking about what kind of package they would want to purchase. And the whole purpose of it is just basically there's no financial obligation at the moment. It's a database to compile for prospective investors to look at. The average age of people that are purchasing is 35 years old, my age, which is interesting. So it's a younger generation that got to see the 02, the 03 exciting teams that latched onto it. It's fans that are interested in the logo. It's kids that have all of a sudden picked up a glove and are starting to play on the amateur fields. And then also people who all of a sudden are into baseball now.
You guys have to be thrilled, obviously, with the reaction specifically to the Toronto trip.
It's, I'm very, Mitch, I had a high expectations. I was very upset last year. We only had a couple of hundred people. I didn't push it enough. This year we did a great job of getting the word out. I was absolutely thrilled. We got about 1,000 in our area, but I was told throughout the stadium, reports are we had another 1,000. So, just first baseline, third baseline, et cetera. So it was great attention, but it's past. It's fleeting, and now it's on to the next thing. And I don't know if you saw the picture on the weekend. Orlando Cabrera was in town for a few hours.
Yes, very upset, very, very upset when I saw that picture, that Orlando would come through town and not speak to his old friend Meech.
Well, Orlando's still in touch with Mark Rutenberg, of course, former minority owner of the Expos, and he was in town for a few hours, and he had lunch with our friend Anakin Slade, and Orlando's interested in coming back if ExposNation is able to put on an event. So we're very excited about that.
Saturday, August the 17th, 8:30 a.m. Claude Raymond is an absolute prince. He's one of the people I really, truly miss not being around Major League Baseball in Montreal. He is at the top of the heap when it comes to former baseball types in this city, along with Steve Rogers, who's still got a nasty sinker, Derek Aucoin, and many, many others at the corner of Saint Laurent and Rue Gary Carter. Is that correct?
That is correct. That was Kaufman's idea. Brilliant.
Saturday the 17th. For more information on that season ticket drive that Matthew was referring to, again, ExposNation.com. Good to talk to you. All the best. Way to go with this, and we'll talk tomorrow.
Thank you. And just on a personal note, Mitch, it's great to hear you talking baseball and local baseball.
Yeah, you know what? Being in Toronto for the week, it ignited something. I'm watching Blue Jays games, and I'm kind of torn internally. You know, I don't want them to be as bad as they are this year. I don't necessarily want to see them win everything. I just don't want them to be as bad as they've been. Do you understand?
Not really, no.
I don't know. Maybe because, Rich Griffin. I hadn't seen Rich since the Expos left. He left even before the Expos did. I hadn't seen Rich in a long time, and he was a guy that I was really tight with. And anyway, it was very emotional that day in Toronto. So thanks for noticing. Talk to you soon.
Michael and Brian and Jose and Vladdy. You got the picture. A wealth of wonderful memories. And I know that as Expos fans, you won't let go of that.